Here are the highlights of this week's news on Japan Today. I'm Nathan, and if you love me, I wanted you to know that today is Valentine's Day, which is celebrated very differently in Japan than in many other countries. It's not about love in Japan. The custom has been for Japanese women to give giri chocolate to their male work colleagues or friends. The Japanese word giri means obligation. The men are supposed to reciprocate on White Day, which is March 14th, by giving women white chocolate, hence White Day. But customs have changed. Giri chocolate is no longer popular. Instead, the trend is for women to buy expensive chocolates for themselves. According to a marketing firm survey this year, the number of women who plan to buy Valentine's Day chocolates for themselves and their families was far greater than those who were going to give chocolates to their coworkers. In fact, 82.2% of the respondents said they don't want to give chocolates to men at their workplace. So if you do get some chocolates from someone in your office, let's be clear. It doesn't mean they're sweet on you, but it does mean you'll have to, or maybe should, return the favor on White Day. Japan will pledge 15.8 billion yen, which is about 106 million US dollars in aid to support the reconstruction of Ukraine from war damage in many different fields such as infrastructure rebuilding and demining. The governments of the two countries are expected to agree on Japan's involvement in Ukraine's post-war reconstruction at the Japan-Ukraine Conference for Promotion of Economic Reconstruction on February 19th in Tokyo. This conference is being held ahead of the second anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine and comes as concerns are growing about dwindling military support for Ukraine from Western countries. There were a few skeptics among Japan Today readers though. One reader said, Japan should make the offer contingent on cessation of all hostilities by both sides of the conflict, or else money spent on reconstruction could end up being wasted by further destruction. Nippon Steel Corp says its planned $14.1 billion acquisition of US Steel will proceed, dismissing opposition from former US President Donald Trump, who said he will block the deal if he returns to power. Nippon Steel Executive Vice President Takahiro Mori told an online press conference, the deal is beneficial to both countries, as well as relevant industries. He added, it should not be blocked by ulterior motives in the political world. The planned acquisition of the iconic US steelmaker has become a political issue, as Trump seeks to appeal to the patriotic sentiment of American voters to win the November presidential election. At a campaign rally, Trump said, "We saved the steel industry. Now, US Steel is being bought by Japan. So terrible." Also, terrible impression. Many Japan Today readers weren't in agreement with Trump, with one saying, sorry, I don't think details are something Trump understands or bothers reading. You could also say, if that deal goes through, it was a steal. In a bizarre incident in Ibaraki Prefecture, the body of a 16-year-old high school girl was discovered underneath a parked car after being dragged for more than 5 kilometers before the driver stopped his vehicle at a parking lot. The 72-year-old driver reported to the police that he found the girl stuck underneath his car after hearing a strange sound while driving from Mito to Hitachinaka at around 6 p.m. on February 9th. The police said there were injuries all over the girl's body. What happened is still a mystery. The driver says he didn't hit her with his car, and he saw nothing on the road as it was dark at the time. National broadcaster NHK reported that the police believe one possibility is the girl had been lying on the road when she got stuck underneath the car. Many Japan Today readers commented that they found it difficult to believe a competent driver wouldn't realize a body was stuck under their car. A recent survey has shown that Japanese people who live outside the country's major cities do not regularly interact with the foreigners who live in their communities. The online survey by a research institute at Taisho University was conducted from October to November on Japanese residents in 59 cities, towns, and villages across Japan, where foreigners account for at least 5% of the population. But it didn't include the 23 wards in central Tokyo, nor Japan's 20 designated major cities. Of the 1,194 who gave valid responses, 83.8% said they do not have regular exchanges with the foreigners who live with them. When asked whether they want a higher percentage of foreigners in their community, 54.5% said they do not, because they're gross In reality, many cited concerns about increased friction or deterioration of the social order, which I'm pretty sure means they think we're gross. I mean, I might be smelly, but that's not my fault. Japan has been opening up more though to foreign workers to combat the slide in its working age and overall population. And at the end of last October, the number of foreign workers in Japan stood at a record high of 2.04 million, according to the Labor Ministry. Sounds like Japan's gonna keep getting grosser. It may be winter, but Japan's stock market is hot, hot, hot this week. On Tuesday, the Nikkei index surged, gaining over 1,000 points in a buying spree to briefly trade above 38,000 for the first time in 34 years. That's so many years. The Nikkei stock average ended up 1,066.55 points, or 2.89%, at almost 38,000 in its highest close since January 1990. The biggest gains were in the semiconductor manufacturing equipment industry and the generative AI industry. But a word of caution, what goes up usually comes down. So be careful where you invest your millions or billions. And now it's time for the weird and wonderful news brought to you by Japan Room Finder. Looking for an apartment or find a room per se? Boy, do I have the service for you. Check out Room Finder on Gaijin Pod Apartments. It is time for the weird and wonderful. Police in Osaki, Miyagi Prefecture have arrested an 88-year-old man who trespassed into the men's bathing facility at an inn and climbed over a partition to observe the women's bath area. The man, who was not a guest at the inn, by the way, snuck into the men's bathing space, then climbed up a 2-meter partition and perched himself like a hawk on top so he could see the women's bath. However, a woman quickly noticed him and reported him to the management, who then contacted the police. Police said the man has denied the allegation and quoted him as saying, "I didn't want to see the naked bodies of women. I was just checking the structure of the bathhouse." One Japan Today reader was impressed with the man's agility, writing, "An 88-year-old man climbed a 2-meter high partition and perched himself on the top. Was he an ex-circus performer?" There's something going on here. There's a bigger story here. I like a burger as much as the next guy, clearly. But Burger King's latest offering is a real challenge. This month, it unleashed the Great King Yeti, the 1-pounder. Boasting 1,637 kilocalories, the King Yeti is made with 4 beef patties and 6 Gouda cheese slices, topped with mayo. The whiteness of the cheese and the sauce upon the double beef patty layers forms 2 snowy mountains within the burger, conjuring up images of expeditions to find the abominable snowman. Weighing in at 550 grams, the 1-pounder is such a beast that customers who purchase it get an "I did it" sticker to congratulate them on their gastronomic efforts. It's priced at either 1,990 yen, or you can also get it for free if you have a heart attack. Bon appetit. Think we haven't been covering the real news? Wait till you hear this one. While we're still on the subject of food, if you've been in Japan for any length of time and been in a ramen restaurant, you'll know the custom in Japan is to audibly slurp ramen, soba, and udon. Recently, an episode of TV Asahi news program, Super J Channel, included an extremely important, the most important interview ever with a Frenchman who'd eaten at a soba restaurant in Japan. And guess what he said? The sound of people slurping their noodles next to me was irritating. That's it. Why do Japanese people slurp their noodles? Cultural guidebooks say that slurping shows the diner is enjoying their meal. Maybe another reason is it's just the easiest way to eat them, perhaps? Unlike forks, chopsticks don't have prongs, so you can't easily twirl up the noodles into a circle for a denser, more compact bite. And hey, add in the fact that soba, ramen, and udon are most commonly served in piping hot broth. Mixing in some air with each mouthful cools the noodles down and helps prevent you from scalding the inside of your little baby mouth. And yet slurping spaghetti is still weird? That seems unfair to me. What? Don't tell me how to eat my spaghetti.